It's Marie Shadows. This is day 3 of me going live on marieshadows.substack.com. As you guys know, hope you guys can join in the chat. This would just be a very quick sort of NJPW conversation. I kind of wanted it to sort of be a live stream. However, whenever I do my live streams, I always try to make sure I hit at least an hour or 2 hours on a live stream just because I want to give people value and I want more people to come in to talk about professional wrestling and to chat in the chat. And I didn't think like maybe a 30-minute session, even though this could probably turn into like an hour session, but like a 30-minute session wouldn't be very beneficial for my viewers over at youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast, even though they would have the opportunity to either get a membership from me and or get or send in super chats. And I really get super chats. I get the super chats. They send it in. But you know what I mean. So yeah, if you guys don't know, the Square Circle Podcast on YouTube is officially part of the YouTube Partner Program. That's what I have been saying for the past last 2 live streams, and even today's newsletter that went out. I hope you guys are enjoying the summary of me reviewing Stephanie's Places, where she had CM Punk on to talk about CM Punk's return, his injury, and all the past stuff that happened between them, and them apologizing and stuff like that. Just giving like a really good diary, like a road diary of CM Punk coming back and all of that, and also talking a little bit to Triple H about his injury back in the day and how he felt and all the doubts and stuff like that. Because sometimes we really don't give wrestlers enough room or their flowers, or even like the platform to sort of speak and be like a little bit vulnerable and be like, hey, these are real thoughts that they're thinking. These are like real doubts that they're thinking and stuff. So, we really don't give them the time that Substack uses for the live streams. I'm just gonna say it. I just hate it. I can't find, this looks like it's straight. Like it's straight. And I hate that the internet connection is always unstable. Like, how is it unstable if I'm on the 5G network? I know I'm going off into a tangent, into something else. But I do want to say that I hope you guys are enjoying the summary. As you guys know, full episodes are for members only, so grab yourself a membership. I don't know if I'm still going to use the membership from Substack. I do appreciate the one subscriber that I have, the one paid subscriber. I do appreciate you so much. It helps out. However, I just don't know. Like I said before in the previous ones, that the views for video is not as high as I would like it to be. And I know that sometimes people just don't get the emails into their into their inboxes. And if you don't get your newsletters from me, from Square Circle Podcast, then you might have a Gmail account and it might go into your spam folder. So I'm going to keep saying it until people go into their spam folder and be like, this is not junk, or this is not spam. Just because it has maybe video and pictures and stuff and like multimedia kind of deals, because I like doing multimedia kind of stuff. I like making sure that everything is creative and visual as possible, because that's just how content creators should like express themselves and not just be like, oh, here's some words, go read the words. Anyway, so like I said, the full reaction video for Stephanie's Places that features CM Punk, which is season 1, episode 1, is only available for members. And like I said, on YouTube, very inexpensive memberships. $1.99 is the OG loyalty price. So that means that people who have been rocking with me since 2019, it sounded weird in my head, okay? So the loyalty tier that's not going to change. It's going to be $1.99. And then the other one is $9.99 a month, which is the Tape Study Plus. I really honestly could not come up with a different name. Sometimes I'm bad at naming things. And sometimes I really want cool names that roll off the tongue and it's all like cool and everything. And if it's like really bland, I'm just like, oh, I really don't want that. But like I called it a Tape Study series. Well, Tape Study Plus, really. Because it features, reactions to videos such as Stephanie's Places and, Legends of Future Greats. And it also features, if I could upload reacting to wrestling videos without getting hit with like a copyright claim or something, just because like I want to make sure that like wrestlers improve and stuff like that. or, hot takes and stuff like that, or, whatever the case may be. Or we have member only streams where it's just, us, which is totally fine. That's why we cultivate a community. The kind of energy you give out is the kind of people that come into your community and want to be part of your community. My content may not be for everyone, and that's totally okay. My content is my content. The way that I want to set it up and stuff. But just know that those are the only 2 memberships. I want to start out with 2. I want to see how that works. And then there is what you call it? There's the super chats, and then we added something new to the YouTube, which is the YouTube. Okay, I thought like I just messed up my live stream. I did mess up my live stream. That's because I accidentally switched windows. Substack, when are you guys going to allow us to use OBS to like do multi-streaming? Like when, dude? Like I want like multi-streaming, please. So I could plug in the stuff into my OBS and like do this on OBS and then broadcast it to like everywhere. Okay. So another perk about being part of the YouTube Partner Program, which I'm being very transparent. Most streamers are not going to be very transparent with you just because of like, they're like, oh yeah, keep it hush hush. Well, the more that we know about things, right? The more that we can get improvements on certain features that we like, and like get new features, and then talk about how like money is distributed. Like I'm always like, we should have conversations about this. So I'm just going to show you the YouTube page. So I am going to flip the camera around, right? Look, there goes the page, Square Circle Podcast, right? By Marie Shadows. And so this is how the membership looks for those that are in the Tape Study Plus era section. And then badges, the emotes. These are really old emotes that I created. You really can't see them that well on here. But yeah, you get the emotes. If like if 2 people sign up to become members to the Square Circle Podcast, we can unlock a lot more emojis and a lot more emotes as well. That's the thing. And then as you can see, there's 2 videos behind, which is this is the full video of me reacting to it. And then the birthday stream, I just decided to put my birthday stream behind there. But yeah, these are the 2 there. This is the membership part. And then when we do store, these are all part of my Fourth Wall website. So you guys can go and get merchandise, whatever you like. If you like mugs, journals, this is my favorite. This is the Trust Me Bro source that I made because we're all tired of all of the journalists in the wrestling community over on Twitter being like, trust me, bro, I got it from my source, but I can't tell you what my source is because that's burning the bridge. Don't you know anything about journalism 101? Like, oh my God, I studied journalism for a week and they said you can't reveal your sources. Which, by the way, and I'm just making fun of it because it's so stupid that these people will get online and use the fact that they have a supposed journalism degree or they study journalism as part of their degree, and it's like you guys use it for convenience when people push back against the narrative that there is something wrong. Okay, so for example, this just popped into my head, so just like indulge me for a bit. If we know, I can't even line this up straight. If we know that 1 + 1 = 2, and we see something online that doesn't add up to the number 2, and you tell me that 2 + 3 = 2, I'm going to be like, oh, there's something wrong there. I'm going to call bullshit. That's what I'm going to do. So that's what these wrestling journalists do most of the time, is that like they put out something, they get pushback, and then all of a sudden it's like, I have a journalism degree. I know how to, do journalism, and I can't reveal my sources. And it's like, I don't think we're asking for you to drop a name, because most likely it's a grunt from one of the wrestling companies that like no one's really gonna care about. But if you are gonna be citing something, saying that like somebody from a company told you the numbers or ratings to something, should you not like include the source or where you got it from? You could be like, a worker in, well, I can't really say a worker. Now, how crazy would it to be like a worker in the finance department? Or you could be like, I talked to a financial advisor at Warner Brothers Discovery. He gave me a little bit of an insight into the ratings and blah 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 blah. Right? If anyone is on any earning calls. Like I would think that, names would get thrown around because the person that's on the call would be like, I'm such and such. And these are, my findings, and this is what we're talking about and stuff like that. That's how we know names of like CEOs, and that's how we know names of, financial advisors, because people, tell their names that wouldn't be like burning the source, you know, just show the work and whatever info you get it from, and if you need to cite other things, then cite it. I remember a time growing up, and in school they used to drill that, especially for like academic works. They're always like, you gotta cite where you get your information from. So if you're doing like a history paper, you gotta cite the sources of where you come up with that theory, and like, why do you think that is, and have these supporting features, well, sections really, for your like academic papers and stuff like that. And I think that goes through true for journalism, but nowadays it's more like, to get people off of your back, you have to be like, oh, I can't reveal my source. I can. That's burning bridges. Yes, because we care about the grunt that you're talking to that says whatever they want to say, and they always whine and cry about why they're never moving up in the company. Yes, because that source is a really powerful source. And I say this to sort of segue to something really quickly before we get into New Japan Pro Wrestling, is that on Twitter today, if you guys were watching SmackDown yesterday, and if you guys saw the promo between Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton, that was really brutal to really watch and really hear. I understand that Charlotte Flair is the heel going into this match at WrestleMania to fight against Tiffany Stratton's championship title, and I understand that Tiffany is the babyface, and sometimes wrestlers who are a babyface don't necessarily get to have the freedom that a heel will have. That's why most wrestlers would want to be a heel, because they get a lot of freedom when it comes to their promos. And baby faces have to, stay baby faces, meaning that like they have to be like the goody two shoes. Maybe not like 100% goody two shoes, but like they have to be like the good, pure sort of hope and light as they, say their promo. But that Chicago crowd was not allowing Charlotte Flair to say anything. And I think that we have come to a point in time where we don't really need Charlotte as much as I am a Charlotte fan. I also do think that her win at Royal Rumble sort of set this mindset going forward of like, hey, that wasn't cool. You jumped in line in front of all the other girls. It could have been someone else's dream, to be at WrestleMania that has been there during like her absence of getting better and healing and stuff like that. But once the promo turned personal and weird, and people are talking about it online, but I do call into question all the dirt sheets that supposedly got that quick info to say that the Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton promo went off script. And then now people would see that and apply that. And most of them have been saying that, like, oh, but Charlotte has always been going off script, applying it to Charlotte as if like it's always her fault. Or even saying that Tiffany Stratton needs to know her role. And it's like, she knows her role. She knows what she's doing. I think that Tiffany felt really cornered because she wasn't allowed to shine. Because apparently, I think it was maybe outside the WWE. I don't know. Because there was some chatter about like people saying that, where was this Tiffany Stratton, talking against Charlotte in like the previous promos, because somebody, I guess, resonated with like this thing that Tiffany Stratton was talking about that was not like WWE programming related. So people were like, oh, where is this Tiffany Stratton? So I think that Tiffany felt that she was cornered, and sometimes when we're cornered, we say some shit, and sometimes you got to run and get out of there before you get your nose broken. But it is getting people to talk about this match now because nobody was really interested in it. And sometimes you have to make things personal to get people talking about it, even if like it's gonna ruffle feathers. But then again, like if you really don't want your personal life out there, then don't talk about your personal life. Don't mention it. If someone asks about like clarification about what happened and like personal wise, just be like, it's just a personal thing. I appreciate you asking, probably looking out, but it's just a personal thing. It is okay to decline, to speak about personal things if somebody asks. It's okay to decline that. But because Charlotte did not decline to mention it, because it wouldn't be rude if she would have said that on the talk show that she went on and then talking about her divorce. It wouldn't have been rude if she would have been like, respectfully, I don't really want to talk about it. I'm not ready to talk about it, but thank you for, probably having some kind-heartedness to ask me about it, to ask her how she's been, because again, going back to John Cena's promo, when is the last time you asked a wrestler how they're doing? When's the last time? Please make sure to check in on wrestlers when you can, because they give all of their body and all of their time and all their sacrifices to wrestling fans that really care. So make sure you go ask a wrestler how they've been doing. So I bring that up because, I bring up the whole entire like Charlotte Flair thing and whatnot because, again, I questioned the journalists of like how fast they got that information. Nobody's going to be texting them like Speedy Gonzalez to be like, hey, this is the information. They went off script. What? Are you going to like confirm that? Like, are you going to double source that? Like, the big boss Triple H is the one that will probably be like, yeah, that's true or not true. Like the grunt that you're talking to within WWE, like, it's probably their opinion and probably what they feel, maybe what they observe. But like, if they're not there, like being a fly on the wall, then like I would question that piece of information and how valid it is. But that's just me. That is the conversation on Twitter currently. It's that. I think that's all the conversations right now on Twitter. But yeah, let's talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling because New Japan Pro Wrestling, as you guys know, I love New Japan Pro Wrestling. I defend that company through and through, and that's basically the bulk of like my whole entire Square Circle podcast. In a time where everybody is talking about WWE, there's a lot of competition there, and I'm going to be very, very honest. There is a lot of competition within the wrestling space as independent wrestling content creators that basically talk about WWE. I could be one of those. I love WWE. I would love to work for them again one day. I really would. But I would just be putting out more content into the atmosphere, and it'll be different from everybody else. I know that just because like I like breaking down professional wrestling matches and I like really talking about it and whatnot. Like for example, the match with Penta versus Nathan Frazier, that was a really good match, even though some people were like, look, they're doing the flippy stuff too, but AEW only gets the short end of the stick. No one really says the short end of the stick except for me, but you know what I mean. Like they always do that kind of stuff, but it's like Phoenix and Nathan Frazier understands what it means to be professional wrestlers, and how to space out the flippy stuff and not try to flip. I can follow you and then like look you in the eye. What? That's good for like a transition move. That's not good for like, oh my God, my opponent can't see me, so I'm just going to just flip and roll around and bam, I'm right in his face. Like what? No, that doesn't make sense. Use that for a transition move. Like so that way you could like instead of sidestepping, you could just roll your ass away. Anyway, so I lost my train of thought with the whole entire like getting off topic in a way. Oh, that even though I would approach talking about WWE differently, I would still think that my stuff get lost in the sea of everybody else that is making WWE content. That is why I used to make AEW content, but I really don't. Everyone thinks that, like, I just hate AEW and I'm anti AEW and whatever AEW does is bad. No, it's not whatever AEW does is bad. That's part of it. But I want them to get better, and I just don't want them throwing shit to the wall and being like, yes, this is wrestling. When no, it's not. It's becoming like GCW and death matches. It's becoming nonsensical stories. It's becoming stop start momentums, and that has been going on forever. It's becoming tournaments galore. It's becoming let me go buy out New Japan guys. It's becoming a lost identity. And that's what myself and others in the community always talk about. And it's like, we need to have this conversation, but people who latch onto AEW as if they are like the be all end all of things, and that's their personality, makes it difficult for people to really want to invest their time to AEW and maybe try it out and become a new potential viewer. So I used to review AEW until the rose glasses came off, and I'm just like, you guys need to improve and not go backwards. Whenever we say that we want an alternative in professional wrestling, it does not mean that they have to be WWE 2.0, but WWE has the blueprint. So why not take some of that stuff and just tweak it? Just look how well that worked for TNA when they created, the knockouts division, when they had the knockouts in a cage match, and when the knockouts are main eventing the TNA pay-per-views, the King of the Mountain, the X Division matches, all of the cool little niche gimmicks that TNA did, and TNA stood apart from WWE despite doing the same thing that AEW has been doing that was poking the bear. After a while, TNA sort of learned. They were like, we're not gonna win this. We're not gonna win this war of who could poke the bear more. So they decided to just do their own thing and stop focusing on WWE. And now look, that we have a wonderful partnership that I extremely love. So yeah, so I don't do AEW content anymore. I just really talk about how they could improve. I don't do much TNA content as much as I would like to. And I do MLW content. And then, like I said, the bulk of my stuff is New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, why does this matter? Because if you saw today's event, which was New Japan Pro Wrestling's Sakura Genesis, because right now in Japan it's Sakura season, which is like the cherry blossoms on the tree and stuff like that. It looks great. So, Sakura Genesis, it makes sense. Anyway, I have yet, and I will say this, I have yet to really watch the event. However, I am always tagged by my wonderful fans in what do you call it? The Twitter post. I don't know why I'm losing train of thought here, but I'm always tagged in the results and stuff like that, and I could get a good grasp at where we're going, what we're doing, and what's happening. And so I'm just like, what are we doing, New Japan? What are we doing? Listen, I love New Japan. I really do. But I just don't know what we're doing here. I really don't. And I think thinking about this, I was like, I can't believe doubt had entered my mind. And I know that if I say what the doubt was, the haters are going to be probably celebrating. But then again, who's part of the YouTube partner? Who's a YouTube partner? I am. Thanks to everybody, including the haters that have supported. So, like I said, I can't believe that one of the doubts was, what would the Square Circle podcast be without New Japan Pro Wrestling? It will still be everything else. It'll still be, tape study series where we watch wrestling and break down matches. And I really want to do that still. YouTube will give me a hard time, but other places won't give me a hard time. I don't know who is signed up to Twitch and who signed up to Kick. Just so that way I can have my fan bases there as well. But I was just thinking about that, and my content will still be good. There's still other stuff for me to do and mold and make some new stuff. If it ever came to it that New Japan is really not changing for the better. And I thought we were changing for the better, but I don't know, man. So that was like one doubt that came in. And of course I might like have to revisit this to see what happens. But for me to be transparent with you guys and like, share this side of like content creation and thinking about stuff and seeing how wrestling for like New Japan is evolving, to share that. That's why, I'm sharing it. Okay, so let's get into the results. And also the participants for the Best of the Super Juniors. Um, there's a whole sea of talent out there, but for some reason, it just doesn't feel like New Japan thinks this through for like giving us a balance. If that makes sense, because for some reason, I just want to be like the partnership with TNA, WWE, and Pro Wrestling Noah is really good, really beneficial. It really is. I just think that because New Japan Pro Wrestling doesn't want to invest again in doing New Japan strong weekly shows, that this is the effect that's happening, because I personally believe that New Japan strong weekly shows helped out New Japan Pro Wrestling so much that it gave fans a reason to go to all the shows. So like they'll go to all the tapings, and then like after 3.5 weeks, the fourth week is usually like pay-per-view day, and people will go to the pay-per-view, and then like there'll be like sellouts, and people will understand New Japan Pro Wrestling a little bit better, understand New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestlers a little bit more better, get to know the Japanese wrestlers a little bit more better, because um, New Japan is very niche. And no matter how many times I tell the world about New Japan Pro Wrestling, it's not really breaking through. It doesn't feel like it's breaking through. It might be breaking through. I don't know. You guys have to let me know. But it doesn't feel like it's breaking through. So, um, and I know that reading headlines is not the best thing to do, but we're gonna read headlines. Eventually, I'll pick out the matches I really want to see and then like do a podcast review on it. But other than that, like these are quick, just quick things. We'll talk about the match card kind of quickly. So, the United Empire, we had the Great Khan versus ELP. If you guys don't know, ELP came back from getting what do you call it? Cancer treatment. He's in remission for whatever he had. So he came back into wrestling. And he won the NJPW TV title. I personally don't think we need the NJPW TV title if it's not going to translate to getting more subscribers to NJPW. I still have my subscription to NJPW World. It is roughly around $9.99, so $10 a month, and I have it because I keep up with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling with you guys, and we also watch New Japan Pro Wrestling shows too together. That's why I keep asking like who has Twitch and who has Kick, so that way I can know. So the Great Khan dethrones ELP. First question: why? What is this gonna do? The Great Khan is great. Like I love the Great Khan as a wrestler. He's really good. He's really, really likable around Japan. He's also the guy that saved a little girl that went into the bathroom at the subway station. Her mom was waiting on the outside, and the drunk guy went in there, and like some terrible things could have happened. But he was there to save the day, and they gave him like an award, and also I guess a key to Japan, that kind of thing. They awarded him very, very nicely. So the Great Khan is very well liked in Japan. Now giving him the NJPW TV title, I don't know. That title is contested in matches 15 minutes or less, because it is considered to be a TV championship title, similar to what like WCW had. I think WWE had, like a TV title. Even though we watch it on the website. So I don't know about that. I don't know why they gave the Great Khan the title. That's why I would be like, why? The second thing that I want to talk about is there was a 6-man tag. So New Japan Pro Wrestling still has what do you call it? The 6-man tag titles, which is the never open weight 6-man tag, 3 belts. So a 3-man team. Can't believe I can't remember the damn like name. Anyway, House of Torture has it. Um, so Bullet Club War Dogs, which is the combination of Drilla Maloney, uh, Taiji Ishimori, and I believe Robbie Eagles. I'm sorry, not Robbie Eagles. Oh my god, don't get on me for that. Okay, so no, Gabriel Kidd. There we go. That was the third person that I was missing. Okay. I am totally messing this up. Someone's gonna tell me that I should probably watch the show before like doing all this stuff, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so yes, it was Maloney, Kidd, and Taiji Ishimori. Those should have been like the 3. Um to try and take the belts off of House of Torture, but then apparently Clark Connors and Sonata comes down to the ring, and then Sonata takes the guitar. He thinks that he's Jeff Jarrett. Sonata, we'll talk about Sonata in a second, but he thinks he's Jeff Jarrett and like hits Maloney over the head with it, and like causes House of Torture to keep the belts, and basically messes up the match, and then joins House of Torture. I don't understand this, and I know that we're leading to a Bullet Club Civil War. All right, so let's talk about Sonata for a quick second. Sonata had it all. What happened? What happened, bro? Like, okay, Sonata had it all. Sonata was part of LIJ. He finally broke away and made his own thing, and he made just 4 guys that turned into just 5 guys, and then betrayed just 5 guys. He was once IWGP World Champion, and I believe he was also a New Japan Cup winner, and he has all these accolades. So yeah, he betrayed just 5 guys. Now it's just 4 guys, and joined Bullet Club. And the last couple of times during the cup, it looked like Sonata was going to betray David Finlay. There was miscommunication, and guess what? Now it's like full on mode of Sonata betraying people, and this is a bad gimmick. This is so stupid, so stupid. I can't even keep up with it. Sonata is so lost that the awesomeness of Sonata is like no longer there. He's come out to like really ridiculous outfits, similar to what Seth Rollins has come out to in the past, except that Sonata just takes it, to a higher level. But yeah, so Sonata is just betraying people out here and going to different factions. And New Japan Pro Wrestling just put out a video to explain to the fans like who's in what faction. And now I don't only have to update it to be like, well, Sonata just turned on Bullet Club War Dogs to join House of Torture by way of Bullet Club, because House of Torture is not even part of Bullet Club. Like, it's so infuriating. It really is. And I have not watched the 2 videos explaining the differences between House of Torture and Bullet Club War Dogs that they have on NJPW World and also on YouTube. And I know that's going to give some more information too, but at the same time, it's like, I already know what's happening. Like, I know why, like, House of Torture was formed back in 2020. Like, I know the reason why. But, we'll go over that one day. Okay, so, again, House of Torture. The next one is that Konosuke is still our never openweight champion. I don't think he should be champion. Like, he needs to go to the back of the line and actually build some type of repertoire and like matches in NJPW and like really like relearn a lot of things. But that's just me. He's our never openweight champion. That belt is not really going to show up like anytime soon after this. And then we get we get new and the youngest apparently crowned IWGP Tag team champions. Listen, I love Jeff Cobb. Callan Newman needs to stop wrestling like Ospreay and like actually evolve in his wrestling aspect and stop trying to be like, I gotta walk down this aisle. I can't look at anybody. I can't be a babyface. I can't interact. I'm so scared. I'm so shy. He gotta break out of that. Because if you want to be a wrestler, this is way different than just being a wrestler in the UK. Because UK wrestlers can't really like stand on their own 2 feet when they come into American wrestling and Japanese wrestling, because you really do have to show your emotions. You have to like act everything out. You have to be your own actor. You have to like do a lot of things that no one is going to direct you to do, but it has to feel like natural and stuff like that. The way you act in front of a camera, the way you present yourself, the gear that you have, like all the presentation. Like presentation is everything in professional wrestling, and if you're still going to act like a scared kid, it's not really going to work out. And again, I love Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb is amazing. Jeff Cobb should be in the title picture, meaning the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship title, or at least the Global Heavyweight Championship title, not Tag Team Championship Gold. Even though I know that they paired these two together, meaning Jeff Cobb and Callum, because Callum needs the help. He needs the guidance. But if he's not changing as much and still trying to do the Ospreay moves, then it's like, bro, are you even listening? And that might sound harsh from me, and it might get me blocked. But I care about a wrestler's future in the business. You cannot rely on somebody else before you. You can probably do some of the moves, not every single of the moves, but you got to find who you are as a professional wrestler, as a character. If you're not doing that, then you're doing yourself a disservice, and just call it a hobby. Like, this is pro wrestling for a reason. You have to be professional. You have to find your own footing for it. But Jeff Cobb does not need tag team gold. He needs to go after one of the big titles before he ends up wanting, because I don't know what he wants, before he wants to end up going somewhere else and accept another offer. I just think that sometimes New Japan Pro Wrestling takes a little too long on these guys that have been there past 5 years. If they've been there like past 5 years, at least give them some of the freaking title belts, like what they used to do before all the management changed. Because then it felt like, people had a sense of like, I got to go after this because of this belt. And this is what this belt means. Most of the belts now, over the past, I don't even know, maybe 3 years. I don't know. My brain wants to be like 3 years. That's like safe date. I don't know. But it feels like most of the titles have been watered down. And I don't understand why. And I probably know how, maybe. But it's just like, yo, why are they watering it down? But yeah, that's my take on that. So Tsuji basically defeated Evil. I'm not sure if it was a clean match. Apparently, Evil said that he is going to have a clean match. If you guys don't know, Tsuji does have a twin. The twin is smaller than Tsuji, which is hilarious to see. But yeah, Tsuji's twin brother helped him out to retain the title, and he still has the Global Heavyweight Championship title. And his next challenger is Yuya Uemura, which is not bad. It's not bad. It's just okay. It's okay. There is a article here that is off of the NJPW website that doesn't really talk about much. But I do want to mention that I did see on the Sakura Genesis card that it was Tanahashi versus Shota Umino. If you know anything about me and talking about Shota Umino is such a polarizing figure in professional wrestling that I'm surprised somebody actually listened to me, because I was saying that Shota Umino needs to defeat Tanahashi in order to get rid of the Tanahashi magic energy essence off of him, because if Shota Umino is doing this second chapter thing, by him shaving his head and coming back and being like, I'm a new person, and I'm like, okay, we'll see. By him shaving his head and all that, he has to get rid of Tanahashi, because in the beginning people were like putting all this pressure on him and was like, yo, you remind me of like Tanahashi and you should like act like Tanahashi, meaning like the babyface stuff and all the energy and the high, I was gonna say high volume stuff, but like the high energy stuff. And then also because I'm sorry, hold on. His mentor, John Moxley, as well, because he used to come out as um like part of the Death Riders that'll be on his Titantron, and then like he holds the jacket and like he comes through the crowd and stuff like that. And I'm like, he needs to get rid of these guys because they are bringing him down. He's again, it goes back to the concept of you got to find who you are as a professional wrestler and not allow people to be like, oh, you're like this person, so imitate this person. And it does not matter as this person is your mentor. They want the best for you, but that does not mean that you copy them. And Shota is really good in the ring. It's just that he still needs a little bit more polishing. He's almost there to become a diamond, but he's not there yet. So I was surprised that I guess somebody in New Japan Pro Wrestling was listening to me that this match happened, that Shota versus Tanahashi happened. So I guess all of my raving, ranting, and my support for New Japan Pro Wrestling is getting out there and getting to the right ears, because it's like, this needs to happen for Shota Umino to realize his full potential, to become the best wrestler that he can be. Not the ace, not yet, because Shota Umino is still very, very young. And by the way, us fans, we need to really stop being like, this wrestler is the ace, that wrestler is the ace, that wrestler is the ace. You would know when a wrestler is the ace. Like, you would know it. You would feel it. You can't just give it to somebody and be like, you're the ace now. Go forth, my child. You are the ace of this wrestling company. It doesn't work like that. We do not bestow the title, the ace, on people. We don't. It has to be one of those like collectively in agreement, but silent agreements, where it's like, this wrestler is the ace. Yeah, we agree. Like how we could say like John Cena is the ace of WWE. Cody Rhodes could be the ace of WWE. You also have like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns as like the aces of like WWE, like stuff like that. Like it's a combination of all of their life's work. That is how you become the ace of something. That is why Tanahashi is the ace. All of his life work, all of those sacrifices, his body of work, that's what it is. Shota is brand new. So he doesn't have as much to become the ace. So please stop calling him the ace. Don't give him any ideas. And let's see how well he grows. He's growing well, in a way. In a way. But yes, I was surprised. I think Actually, I don't know the outcome of what happens in that match, but I was just really like, I want to mention that. So now, let's just talk about the main event. The main event had Hiroki Goto, which is our IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, versus David Finlay, the leader of Bullet Club War Dogs. And, David Finlay had a wonderful, hype about him and his promo and stuff like that. Of course, Hiroki Goto is the one that is always going to be built on determination, ambition, and he's gonna his promos are more done in the ring, meaning his in-ring storytelling ability, his in-ring wrestling ability. So that's where like the difference is in terms of like promo battles and like how they feel and all that kind of stuff. It's very, very different. We as Americans and foreigners over to like New Japan Pro Wrestling, we focus more on the theatrics and drama, and so does some of the NJPW guys. So does the Japanese guys. But to put it into perspective, I know Goto probably didn't have a lot of words to say because he would have said most of his words in the ring. I know it was probably a damn good fight. Because both of them can deliver. Goto is that company man that you put all your trust in. They put their whole trust in him until like people got bought out, went over to AEW, and then like there was more space and more room to crown people that you wouldn't think would ever get a championship opportunity to carry the company. And then here's Goto. Goto has been there, sacrificed a lot. The same thing with David Finlay. David Finlay has sacrificed a lot, and all he has to show for it is tag team gold and the never openweight championship title, I believe, and then also the global heavyweight championship title, and then I wish he would have gotten the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship title, but unfortunately Goto has it and retained. And my issue with that is that, it's Sakura Genesis. How do you have two different title changes, meaning the tag team titles, the heavyweight tag team titles, and the NJPW World TV title, two championship titles that nobody really cares about? We care about the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship title. We care about the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship title, and I haven't even said anything about that. And I think that's it. I don't even know, man. Like, it's really annoying that the titles. Oh, global. I care about the global heavyweight championship title. But it really is sort of like, damn, man. These titles that New Japan has, and I'm like, all of them used to mean something. It was so good back then. So good back then. Anyway, so yes, Goto retains the title. And then, you know, I basically said online, what are we doing here? These decisions in booking, New Japan, Goto, Tanahashi, they all have to be careful because booking decisions like this is one of the reasons why people will just leave New Japan for greener pastures. And if you go back into the interviews, Kadani, who is part of Bushi Road and like deals with distribution and all that, he was saying that like he doesn't like to see or have New Japan Pro Wrestling be known as like a feeder system. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's like the gist of it. That the wrestlers do so well that other companies are going to be like, hey, we can offer you X amount of money. Do you want this contract? And most of them are going to be like, yes, I want that contract. Case in point, Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight did not take offense to this at all. Like, I really love Kevin Knight and what he's done in professional wrestling. And, his matches are great. He's a great guy. And he's a really, really great talent. It's just that to know he signed with AEW is sort of like, dude, like, man, I don't know what it is with New Japan Pro Wrestling and not like getting people for the sake of getting people. And it might be a money thing, but I always say that money fluctuates and comes and goes. And, you got to learn how to save your money. You got to learn how to invest your money so that way you can have passive income and not worry about, are they going to sign me today? Or are they going to sign me tomorrow? There are things that are way more accessible now as being a content creator, being a marketer, yeah, I guess a marketer, like all these different opportunities for you to make money on the side while you do professional wrestling and not just rely on like, yo, when is my paycheck coming in? And you're just relying on that one paycheck. There's different avenues for every single person around the world to try to at least make something. It's not like, making a million here, a million there, but like making enough to sort of reinvest in yourself so that you can have that passive income in a very legal way. But sometimes it feels like wrestlers don't want to do that. And they go with the first person that's gonna like drop that big ass money bag in front of their face. And it's like, you have to at least know that you have to make a return investment on that. Mostly everything in the world is like on loan. Even if you feel like it isn't, but sometimes it is, especially when you have like a business to run, a really good business to run. It's on loan until you like can make a profit and can stand on your own 2 feet, and everybody gets well paid and well fed. You know what I mean? Like, everyone is at the table, everyone is putting in the effort. There's no I in team and stuff. But sometimes I just don't understand New Japan Pro Wrestling. With that being said, on Twitter, I did say like, what are we doing? If wrestlers leave, it's because of booking like this. Like, I think that we should have had a change in the championship title because what is it, in on the 9th, like in a couple of days time, it's going to be NJPW not Resurgence, Windy City Riot. And so, while Goto is going to be there to bring the championship title and he's going to be in the main event, his opponent is Shota Umino, And if you read the comments under the NJPW tweet, nobody wants Shota Umino in that spot. And I'm going to have to agree that I don't want Shota Umino in that spot, but it already happened. Goto's way of thinking is that, and I also commented on this too. Goto's way of thinking is that, he's going to show the American audience the Japanese strong style. And, I was like, AEW already made that into a joke. The American fans are not going to respect it the way that you think they're going to respect it. And it's like, you guys are not paying attention to what's happening over here when your Japanese coworkers come over and work for AEW. Just ask Ishii. Ishii is on a complete losing streak. It doesn't matter if he won like one or two times, and if they're in a tag team, it really doesn't like truly count, because they're not like an established tag team. If they were an established tag team, then I'll let it go. But if they're not an established tag team and they do a tag team match like, on Saturday, like today, and then we never see them again until 3 months later and they team up again. And the story that AEW is trying to tell you is that on the last Collision 3 months ago, they were a tag team. And oh my God, they won. So they're going to be a tag team again. No, that's not how that works. So, Ishii is like losing so much on AEW programming, and he always goes back, and he goes back for the bag, and he's ruining what it means to be the Stone Pitbull. And I can't be here to defend him because I'm like, oh my God, no one is really going to listen. No one's really going to care about the past, because people care about the present and the future. And the same thing with like Shibata doing Shibata things, by sitting down cross-legged and like slapping each other, and it's becoming a joke because it's overexposed. So for Goto to be like, I'm going to show the American audience strong style, Japanese strong style. Maybe if this was like pre-pandemic, then yeah, maybe we'll have a little bit more respect. Or even during the pandemic when we had the NJPW Strong Weeklies and the pay-per-views, and fans were starting to, become fans of New Japan Pro Wrestling and New Japan Strong and respecting the Japanese culture. But nowadays it's not like that. And it's like it's so innocent. It's so innocent. Goto is very, very innocent, man. And I don't mean innocent as in like, he doesn't like he's not like a child, but innocent in that like, he doesn't pay attention to what's happening over here. So it's one of those things. But does Shota Umino need to be in the main event over at Windy City Riot? Not really. Shota Umino lost. He lost I don't think he was in G1, but he lost to David Finlay for the New Japan Cup, and it was like, why is he getting a title shot? This is what doesn't make sense about story consistency, because at the end of the New Japan Cup, David Finlay went over to Shota Umino and was like, hey, I can teach you how to be a winner like me. I can teach you all this stuff. You should follow me. Like, I'm very, very paraphrasing. But, he was really like, yo, you could join up with Bullet Club War Dogs. But then all of a sudden, now he gets a title shot out of nowhere just because they had to fill the main event when that could have been somebody else. And if anybody wanted to know who I would have put there, I would have definitely put, who would I have put? Who's on the roster that could just automatically go in there? Honestly, I don't know. We're gonna have to circle back to that because nobody on the roster is popping up on my mind for him to go in there and get a title shot, because like New Japan Pro Wrestling has been doing this like overhaul in like baby steps, and they're missing stories and continuity, and it's just like everybody else is preoccupied with something else that's not the big title. You know? That's not the big title. I'm really trying to think. You know what? A first time ever. A first time ever. I think that Yoshihashi should have challenged Hiroki Goto at Windy City Riot for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship title. Yes, because Yoshihashi and Goto have been through it all. They have been one of the best tag teams, heavyweight tag teams in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They carried New Japan Pro Wrestling. They carried that tag team division for years. And your bestest buddy now holds the biggest championship title of the company, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship title. And they did not think to be like, yo, Yoshihashi, go out there and go challenge your boy. And just have a classic match at Windy City Riot. Whoever wins, whoever wins. It doesn't matter. But I think that that would have been the best bet. So that way they can set up the next angle to challenge whoever wins at Windy City Riot, so that because you know they're gonna come back over to Japan, they're gonna go back over to Japan, so you know to do that. But no, no, that didn't happen. Now that's the card. Let's talk about David Finlay for like a quick second. First of all, I would like David Finlay to be on my podcast, the Square Circle Podcast, to be interviewed. One of these days, I would love to have him on and chat with him about everything, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Bullet Club War Dogs, all that kind of stuff. Still waiting for a reply. Just want to put that out there. I know he is super busy, and I also would love to interview the rest of Bullet Club War Dogs as well. They deserve the spotlight, and my whole entire podcast interview series is all done in kayfabe. So no personal questions will be asked. It's not my territory. That's not my thing. I don't like to invade on other people's privacy unless we be buddies. Podcast does host interviews. I've interviewed Robbie Eagles in the past. I've interviewed Clark Connors in the past twice. Clark Connors is amazing. Aaron Henare of the United Empire. I've also interviewed. And that's about it for like New Japan wrestlers. But there's a lot more interviews in the Square Circle podcast. You can just go back in the catalog and see whatever interviews you want to see. So now let's talk a little bit about David Finlay. After David Finlay loses to Hiroki Goto and doesn't get the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship title, he then says he issues a challenge to face House of Torture in a dog pound steel cage match. Sir, why are you playing with my emotions? I am not happy about that. Did you guys see the first dog pound steel cage match that they had? It was War Dogs versus United Empire. That was a war. I have not revisited that match ever since it was done. Like I was not I have not revisited that match because it really changed the course of wrestlers' lives. There's a reason why Alex Coughlin is not wrestling anymore. Like he got super injured and he had to retire, unfortunately. And Alex Coughlin was a damn good wrestler that could have had a really good life in wrestling. Really good career, I should say. Career, not life. He probably already has a really good life anyway. So it ended his career prematurely. Aaron Henare almost died in there by getting his head busted open and almost bleeding out. But they taped him up, and his ancestors, his Maori ancestors, was flowing through him to finish that damn match. That guy, got me all scared. And I'm like, no, we're not doing this again. That's because Japan is not really used to hardcore stuff unless like you're going to a promotion that specializes in like hardcore stuff in a way. But like New Japan Pro Wrestling is more like traditional. You got to get it done in the ring, 1, 2, 3. Win by pinfall, submission, count out. Not necessarily trying to kill each other in a ring, in a cage match. And so, yeah, David Finlay has issued the challenge to House of Torture to basically have another dog pound steel cage match. Am I ready for that? No, I'm not ready for that. Do we need that? No, we don't need it. Is it going to happen? Yeah, it's going to happen. Whether I like it or not. Will I watch it? Yes, I will watch it. Will I review it? Yes, I will review it. However, I do think that after this match, somebody is leaving because you don't go to this extreme if nobody's leaving. But that's just my theory on it. That's just a theory. You know, that's what I think through observation. No insider knowledge on that. I just think that if you're gonna issue such a devastating match, and this is different because it's not like WWE where WWE is like you're gonna go one on one with your opponent and like Hell in a Cell. It's not like that because we know that it's a gimmick match. We know that we're gonna see them like in 6 months time. Like it doesn't mean like they're gonna go what do you call it, jump ship to another company or whatever. But in New Japan, because the whole entire thing of getting doing hardcore matches is relatively new, and to put so much emphasis on something like a dog pound steel cage match, you just know that something's up. I like to trust my gut a lot and my intuition and everything that I know since I like work in the business and like seeing stuff behind the scenes and I just know a little bit more. But again, no insider information. But I just feel like after this, basically, uh, somebody's leaving, but I don't know who's leaving. That's the thing. I just have this feeling because again, you wouldn't really issue this unless like it was the be all end all. And you even though like you would think that because it's a cage match, you could get House of Torture in there and they're not gonna like end up leaving and you can do all the shenanigans that you want. But the significance behind the first one sort of sets a precedent about what these type of cage matches mean for a New Japan specific setting and not no other wrestling promotion. Now the last thing that I want to talk about before I wrap up, and it is the Best of the Super Junior 32 entrants revealed. Because again, New Japan, what are we doing? What are we doing, New Japan? What are we doing? Um, so the 32nd annual Best of the Super Junior tournament kicks off on May 9th in Chiba. Shout out to Chiba because Chiba, whoever listens to me in Chiba, Japan, thank you so much. As 20 of the best junior heavyweight wrestlers in the world would do battle in 2 blocks of round robin competition, building to the finals in, I probably might mispronounce it, but OTA, Japan, June 1st. So, if you guys don't know, this is basically a G1, but for Best of the Super Juniors, so it does go by point system. It's a round robin point system. So we don't know the blocks yet, but we know the entrant, the people who are the entrants. Yeah, sounds weird. So El Desperado is in here, Master Wado is in here, Hiromu is in here, Kushida is in here, Taguchi is in here, Yo is in here, Kevin Knight is in here, Ninja Mac is in here, Kosei Fujita is in here, Robbie Eagles is in here, Taiji Ishimori is in here, Bushi is in here, Francesco Akira is in here, Clark Connors is in here, Sho is in here, Yoshinobu Kanemaru is in here, Dragon Dia, I believe that's how you say his name. He's from Dragon Gate. So he's in here. Somebody from CMML will be in here. Most likely it's probably Teton or Titan, but it might be Teton. Mao from DDT is in here. We have one entrant from AEW, which is sort of a good thing, but also a bad thing because I would have accepted, I'm going to say that again, I would have accepted more AEW competitors for the Super Juniors because it is really unfair that Tony Khan has all these wrestlers, even wrestlers that make the weight for being a Super Junior for Japan, and all we get is Nick Wayne and nobody else. When most of the people that are weight appropriate for the Super Juniors competition can be in here and they could do something other than staying home waiting for something to do. And that's it. Nick Wayne is the last one. Now, first of all, there are a lot of reoccurring names that I think that should not be in here because it is past their time, and I'm so sorry that, you know, it might sound really harsh, but like, what new stuff can we do? Like, I love Hiromu. Hiromu is one of my favorite wrestlers in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but why is he in here? He's always part of like Best of the Super Juniors. Like, we need new talent and to make sure that the Super Junior division is healthy. El Desperado is the champion. He shouldn't even be in here. I just have this pet peeve that champions should not be in a tournament. They shouldn't. Taguchi is in here, and I love Taguchi, and Taguchi is like the ultimate coach and veteran. I totally get it, but we need somebody. We need somebody new. Kushida is the same way too, and I totally get it that most of these guys probably never won a Best of the Super Juniors, but what are they doing differently that can convince me now in 2025 that they can be a potential winner for the Best of the Super Juniors 32? What could it be? What have they done to convince me that they could be a potential winner? The same thing with Yoshinobu Kanemaru, who's part of House of Torture. What can he do to change my mind that he could be a winner? The same thing with Bushi. Bushi is amazing, but the way that New Japan has booked certain people from certain NJPW factions doesn't really get my hopes up of like, oh, he could be the one. That person could be the one. You know, I'm excited to see the new names. I'm excited to see Kevin Knight again in here because, like I said, Kevin Knight is a really good wrestler. For everybody out there that keeps saying who, he's a damn good wrestler. Okay, he's a damn good wrestler. You know, I always love Robbie Eagles. Robbie Eagles is amazing. Master Wato, I'm happy that Master Wato is in here because Master Wato is one of, I was gonna say one of the best. Somebody might be like, no, he's not. He's really good. He came back from injury, but before injury, man, Master Wato is definitely one of the guys to look out for. Kosei Fujita is also a good wrestler. Yo and Sho, we've seen them before. Sho is part of House of Torture. Clark Connors, I'm happy that he's in here. I'm happy that Akira is in here. You know, Taiji Ishimori, like, I get it. You got to be careful about Taiji Ishimori because he's very sly. Okay, he's very, very sly. Like I said, Nick Wayne is in here. I don't really watch Nick Wayne matches. I really don't. I don't get it. I don't get him. But I will see what he's all about. Mao, I've only seen clips of Mao. So I really don't know. This is gonna be like a treat. Dragon Dia, I've never seen any clips. And then we don't know who the CMML guy is gonna be, but like I said, most likely it's gonna be Teton. I haven't said anything about Ninja Mac. That's because of like, no disrespect to him. He's really, really good, but you know, overall, I would like sometimes constant wrestlers to be on New Japan to build up to certain tournaments so it makes sense. And then inside the fans' mind, it could be implanted that, oh, maybe this person could win because they showed up. And when you show up, more people show up with you, meaning that you get a bigger support system when that happens. And you're not just like all over the place and stuff like that. Like, you know, but yeah, Best of the Super Juniors starts in May 9th, which is next month. I would definitely hope to see like some of the new faces basically have some matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling now that Sakura Genesis is behind us, and start showing the fans why they're in Best of the Super Juniors. That is the one thing that I wanted to end on. And I guess this might be a podcast episode. I don't know. I was thinking of like, oh, this could be like the first episode for Inside the Locker Room, which is basically going to be the name of the interviews. I don't know. You guys let me know. But also like hot takes and like, you know, first thoughts about certain things. But yeah, I would definitely say again that I would have probably liked some other AEW wrestlers in here. That fits the weight for the Best of the Super Juniors just because we could get a variety of different things, open up the markets to different wrestlers and stuff like that. Like, this partnership is like, we'll give you one guy. Okay. We'll give you one guy for a tour. We'll send them back. Oh, it's 2 months already. We'll give you another guy. You can have him lose on AEW. The partnership is not strong. The partnership just feels one-sided. I have a whole entire collection about about this whole stuff, about the one-sidedness. But yeah, that's gonna be everything from me talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Just as a reminder, the Square Circle podcast on YouTube is fully live. We have memberships. Whenever I go live, there's the ability for super chats. And now we just added my fourth wall merchandise onto youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast. If you want to join and get a membership, I have been putting up member-only videos, such as Stephanie's Places, where I do a full reaction and commentary of the whole entire show. So head over to youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast /join. So that way you guys can get a membership. It helps out the whole entire Square Circle Podcast project. Because I realized after 6 years of doing this, and I started in 2019, that it's a big ass project. It's always changing, subjects to change, and there's always something different happening in wrestling, and we're changing with the times. So it's a big ass project. So if you want to get, more thoughts, more behind the scenes, member only stuff, like, this is only the beginning. Like, I love you guys so much for joining me, for looking at the lives, listening to me, and sharing my videos and helping us get to the YouTube partner program. Like, I really love you guys. So that's available. The summary video for Stephanie's Places is out on YouTube as well. And I like doing these. I like going live on Substack and just talking and basically giving you my raw opinion thoughts. And again, you guys can leave comments. I answer all comments. I talk to people. Like, I just love interacting. So make sure to leave a comment, leave a like if you want to. And if you are new and you're just seeing this video, just sign up to marieshadows.substack.com. It is free. It's a free newsletter that includes wrestling takes and podcast episodes and a lot of cool, fun stuff. And by the way, just a couple more reminders. Today is April 5th. MLW Battle Riot is tonight. I will be reviewing MLW Battle Riot live with a member of the wrestling community, aka Dos Evil. I guess I will make him the leader of the IWC. He might not like that, but it'll be great. I'll let him know during the live stream. So Tuesday, April 8th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be live on youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast. The only YouTube channel and the only place I'll be live, youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast. I'll be live at 6:30 p.m. April 8th on a Tuesday talking to Dos Evil about MLW Battle Riot. So I hope to see you there. And then on April 21st, Dos Evil and I will be collaborating again. We're going to be collaborating with some MLW stars. And I believe that's going to just be a recording. But I'm letting you guys know that now because I want to get it hype. And it's going to be a very, very fun recording. That is what's coming up soon. The next Stephanie's Places, episode 2, will hopefully be done sometime this week. And that will be up. Again, the full video will be members only. The summary video will be for free, non-members. But I encourage you guys to get a membership and support the Square Circle Podcast because I love you guys. And all this is because of us, because we all work together. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into a live stream right here on marieshadows.substack.com. Sign up for free, and I will see you guys in the next one talking about professional wrestling. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk soon. Bye.